Hi, my name is Kevin and I'm starting a YouTube channel called Leap Year BBQ. And I want to do this first video where I kind of talk into the camera and tell you why I'm doing this YouTube channel, what the point is, what my overall goals are, and where I plan to be over the next couple of years. The original inspiration behind this video was I have always wanted to do a barbecue catering company. And after a while, I've been thinking about doing it. I've done a bunch of big parties, some test runs. I've catered kind of one small event for a friend. And I wanted to sort of expand that. But then me and my wife were thinking, what more fun than to do that on camera and kind of show my trials and tribulations for anybody who is planning on maybe starting something like this themselves. I got into barbecue just a couple years ago with just this big box store smoker. You can get it at any academy. You can buy them online. At the time, it was $500. I think maybe it's about $600 now. But I do all my cooking on that, all my smoking on this. So that's kind of one thing I want to show you guys is how do we optimize the amount of food we can cook on a small smoker like this, because you can actually cook a ton of food on a really small smoker. This isn't a $5,000 backyard smoker. This thing is, it's small. This is what most people can afford. It's certainly what I could afford. So I kind of want to show that and how I cook those big cooks, and some of that will be catering, hopefully, as I grow this company, and some of that will be just my backyard tailgate parties. Some of that's just going to be experiments that I can kind of share with you guys, and you guys can learn from me. Hopefully I can learn from you guys. I'd love to get into some conversations about what you guys do, and if there's anything you'd like to see me just try and play around with. I've spent a couple years playing with this thing. I've got it pretty dialed in. So for the most part, you're pretty much just going to see me using this. And I have a catering coming up pretty soon that I'm going to record, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to show you pretty much step by step how we go through that, how we do the calculations for the food, how we do pretty much everything kind of relating to that. But again, we're also going to be doing tailgates. We're going to be doing parties. We're going to be doing just a lot of fun stuff with friends. It's going to be a really fun time. And then we're just going to try some foods. We're going to try some stuff. I like to experiment in the backyard. We're going to do different types of chicken and pork and everything you can think of. Brisket, of course. Everything you can think of, we're going to try and do it. And so a little bit about me. I live in Georgia, in the North Metro Atlanta area. I've lived here my whole life. It's a great place. I will say we don't seem to have one specific barbecue identity. You think Texas barbecue and you think of those briskets, the oak wood, and less on the sauces and whatnot. They rely on those rubs, which is awesome. But I'd love to maybe start to develop a Georgia style barbecue that's a little more clear and defined. I love doing this because I like to serve. I like to serve my family. I like to serve my friends. I want to serve the community. And I love to serve them in my cooking. I'm still learning a lot. I think that I have, miles to go before I could even consider myself a pitmaster, even after, years of and hundreds of hours using this thing. I have a long way to go. But I think that's going to be the fun of this YouTube, is us exploring together, us getting into it together, us, figuring out what works and what doesn't. So that's why I kind of started this sort of, low-key, a little bit boring talking head video just for my first one. So if you're ever wondering, why did he do this? What was the point? What was his overall goal? Well, you have this video now that you can kind of see what was the point. And I'm going to try and edit this one as little as possible. And as we go through these cooks, I'm going to try and edit those as little as possible so you can get the real, good, bad, and ugly of a backyard cook, of a small smoker, of having to use, smaller wood splits cut from bigger wood splits. I am going to try my very best to cut it as little as possible. Obviously, it's, you're not going to want to see a video of someone cooking for 12 hours, so there'll be cuts in there. But I want to be as honest as possible. I want to be as real as possible. And I want to just show you what it's like to be a backyard warrior, like I think most of you guys are, like I am. I have a wife, I have a kid. This isn't my full-time job. I am just doing this, to start to grow this business and start to grow, with who I am. But much like you guys, I bought what I could afford. I have a backyard with some simple tools. We got the backyard smoker. This is an old country Pecos. It served me really well. I keep it nice. I keep it seasoned. I keep it looking good. I've done very few modifications to it. I added a couple of things, but pretty much zero modifications. I have a Weber kettle, and then I have a Blackstone, and then I have Old Trusty here, a plastic table from Costco. That's it. And I want to show you guys that you can make amazing food for your family and friends, for big catering events, for yourself, using just these simple, easygoing tools. And that's pretty much the entire idea behind this YouTube. I want us to have fun together. I want us to do this together, explore together, journey together, and have a good time together. I would love comment feedback. I would love to have conversations. I'd love to get to know some of you guys that are interested. And I'd love to, for the newer people out there that are struggling or, whatever, I'd love to hear from you. What do you want to know? I'll get with you. We'll do YouTube videos about it. Because, it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies for me. My first cook, I wanted to quit. I thought, this is horrible. This is awful. Tending this fire not going right. Nothing's right. Come to find out, that's most people's first cook on a backyard barbecue. That's pretty much every first cook. It's horrible. It sucks. But it is what it is. My wife had me keep going, and she was right. It was awesome. And ever since then, it's gotten better and better and better and better. And every single time I cook, even now, I learn something new. And I even go in and I share with my family, what did I learn today on this cooker? I thought I knew this, but, it turns out, maybe it's, something else. So, I'm always learning and developing my skills with it. And I think it's really important to do. So I kind of want this to be a backyard cook channel, a little bit of a catering channel, a fun channel, a party channel. Let's have a good time. Let's learn together. Let's grow together. Let's fail together. And let's just make sure that we're always having a good time doing what we love best, barbecue, cooking barbecue. It is, in my opinion, the greatest art in the world. Barbecue, it tastes good. You have to struggle to get there. It's a lot of fun if you're willing to put in the time and effort. And we're going to do a lot of different types of stuff. Of course, I use mostly an offset. But I have friends that use pellets and gravity-fed smokers. I'd love to get into using some of those and experimenting with some of those, and maybe having them experiment with my, cooker. So that's pretty much it for this episode. If there's anything you'd like to comment on or subscribe, I'd love that, of course. I'd love to engage with my audience as much as possible. And again, if there's anything you want to see, go ahead and tell me that. I'll do my best to make sure I incorporate some of these ideas and some of the things we can kind of do together. Thank you.